What's good, you guys? Today I'm going to work on some melodies from scratch till I get one I actually approve of. For the drums and other elements, my boy NAMASTE Beats YouTube channel is down below. Definitely subscribe. Called The Voltage Archives, full of super unique usable sounds. I'm gonna pull up Serum and get down some kind of lead pattern. Let me find the right sound first. Let's throw a little bit of effects on there. Let's go with Hyper Dimensions, my favorite built-in effect module for Serum. Just gonna duck some of those specific harsh frequencies in the lead. See, way cleaner. Okay, let's get down a little pattern. I just played in a tiny 1-bar pattern and altered it after repeating each one over, and this is where we're at so far. Yup, and then let's go into Alchemy for my favorite lead, the dual multipliers lead. Okay, let's get a lead in on top. Let's go ahead and stretch those out so they overlap and turn legato so they glide between notes. And I'm just going to throw a pitch bend before that last note so it sounds analog. Let's go. Okay, I'm thinking one more layer for this part. Let's go EXıLE for a little ambient vocal chop. Let's go atmospheric. And let's hunt. Something like that. Let's work on the second part. Clean. Let's double these over and simplify the vocals for the first part. Okay, let's throw a little altar boy on there first. Form and shift it, make it a little bit trippier, of course. Works for me. Now let's just get a drawn out reverb, which I'm gonna go Quantec, stock Logic. An EQ at the end. So a little bit of background, but still distinguishable. Bounce these together, maybe do a light flip for a B section. Take these stems over to the second 8 bars for a B section. And let's see, I want to take out, I think, that main lead. Maybe pitch this down. The vocals, I'm just gonna bounce down and maybe reverse them. Go in with a scissors tool. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do 1 bar instead. Scissors tool selected, hold option and click, and it'll chop equal amounts for the rest of the clip. I want to rearrange these chops a little bit. Hard to explain what I'm doing. I'm literally just listening to little chops and thinking of how they could be rearranged for a catchy, repetitive vocal. Chopping, stretching, etc. See how we're sounding so far. Copy that first 2 bars over to the second half. And cut it back when that last hit hits in. Perfect. Throw some fades in and out so we don't get any clicking. Just bounce these together, and we are gonna do one more thing, maybe throw it into Beat Breaker, Logic's form of FL Studio's gross beat. Even more lit in my opinion. Okay, let's go to some of these presets. That'll work. Yeah, you want to mess with which chops go where with the time tab. Repeats, you can click and drag to change the amount of repeats. Volume, you can duck or slope the volume up or down for certain chops. Super clean. Just get an EQ and we'll be Gucci. Cutting out a good deal of the highs, so there's plenty of room in the frequencies for rap over top. Light purple, dark purple vibes, in my opinion. Okay, here are those final loops. Let's run them. And here's that second loop. Time to get into that collection. So let's start by pulling up a drum machine designer. Definitely the quickest way to pull in and program drums in a stock plugin. And I'm gonna fill that with voltage archive sounds. Let's start with a snare for a main hit. No 808s in this voltage collection, but they have some dope basses, and I'm gonna do one of those sub bass mixed with kick type vibes, so let's find the right one. That will sum up the drums we need. And what we're gonna do is lightly tweak the sounds just so I get them how I like them to sound. Just throw in a basic two-step pattern and tweak those sounds. Onto some two-step hats. Alright, let's go ahead and get a very simple bounce in to get this thing moving. Easy enough. Convert to MIDI and sauce those rolls up as usual. Pitches, velocities, you know the drill. Just gonna add a very sparingly placed 8th note hits lower than the main hi-hats. Copy that over, straight up. Let me show you guys that whipped up hi-hat pattern. Good to go. Let's work on these counter snares now. Pitch it up a little bit to match the melody. Gonna delete that roll from the first 4 bars. Now let's throw in an 808. So we got this subby bass pulled up. I'm gonna put y'all on some game. we want the settings way different. First of all, not one shot, we want classic mode. Keep this on ADSR envelope and have it squared off the end, so when your notes end, the 808 cuts off. What I want to do is just make a singular block of all the same sub info and layer a kick up top. Make sure this is on 0x. Let's pull this back to like here. Yep, and then auto loop. Boom. Tiny bit of fade. Beautiful. So now it just hits like a straight up sub. And I'm gonna drop out some of the high frequencies so it's not so dominant. Dope, dope, dope. I like a little bit of that buzz. I'm glad I checked. Get a light pattern in and then we'll work on the kick. And sauce that up with some pitch bends once again. Pitch bending sub basses is optimal crisp factor. Let's try that. The same type of bend right here. Gotta go into quick sampler and make sure this bend range is up to 12. That was the problem. Okay, now I can readjust the bends. Gonna go ahead and double that over, touch it up a tiny bit, but keep it pretty simple still. And that's all we're gonna need. Let's run that 808 before we throw kicks down. So what we're gonna do is bring this kick in to C3, polyphony mono for kicks, and make sure that's in classic. That'll work. Let's program in kicks on some of those 808s, but not all of them. Let's get that kick layer in. Looking at the pattern of the bass. Turn the 808 down so you can hear the kick better. Okay, so now we can get into the B section. So I'm gonna bring in some of these sound effects and stuff from the voltage archives again. And I just dragged in some Perc Loops I might want to use during a bridge, possibly. Let's hear those. This one. I'm just gonna use those top two, and I'll come back to those in a little bit. Let's work on that B section. Let's go a little different with the hi-hats. Okay, so it's going to go from that interesting two-step to that double time for the second half of the verse. Well, let's do sound effects first, and then I can lay down the low end. So let's start with this one, and I'm going to cut it so it's a little bit shorter to fit as a perc. Okay, that'll do it. I just pitched it so it's in the tune of the beat. Throw a pattern down. Okay, one more sound. That one. And again, I'm just gonna make it super succinct. Okay, that should work. Let's get that in now. That's right, I wanted to chop it, I forgot. Okay. Let's start with a kick pattern this time. Let's try this. Flawless. Now let's go ahead and go to the second section where I am gonna bring in that sub bass underneath the kick. Copy down the kick pattern because it's all on one note, and we're gonna put that up to the right note now. From here we can take some hits out. That will literally do it, and I just want to adjust the root notes for the 808. Okay, that will wrap up the entire 808 pattern, and let's run it. I'm gonna layer this under. This is gonna be a bridge. Clean, just copy the hook melody over, pitch it down an octave. That will be all we need for arranging. Main hook, full verse, and then even a bridge to move on with. Check down below in description for my boy NAMASTE Beats and pick up his completely free Voltage Archives, custom sound design, and ready to rock. Hope you guys picked up some gems. Peace.